Finally, some good news in Nigeria's new tax law. I'm going to tell you exactly what the Nigerian government says will not be taxed come 2026. So, Nigeria has just passed a brand new tax law that officially kicks in from January 2026. If you earn money in Nigeria, maybe from your job, your side hustle, or your home business, this concerns you. Now, I know when you hear new tax law, the first reaction is usually stress, confusion, or just plain annoyance. But today, let's take a deep breath because I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to break it down simply, especially the parts that will save you money. This video isn't about politics, it's about money. And the more you understand how the system works, the better you can protect and grow that money you earn. So, if you're in Nigeria or earn from Nigeria, stay with me till the end. You'll learn how this new law affects your salary, business, investments, and even things like money gifts from friends and family. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor or a tax professional. I'm just sharing what I've learned about this new law, so please do your own research before making any big decision. Alright, let's start with the basics. The first thing you need to know is that this tax is not on your gross income. Before tax is calculated, there are deductions. These are things like your pension contributions, health insurance, housing allowance, and even life insurance. After all of those are removed, what is left is what they call your taxable income. And here's the good part, the first 800,000 of your taxable income is completely tax-free. So, if after all those deductions, your taxable income is less than 800,000 naira a year, you don't pay any income tax at all. Now, that's a relief, right? The second thing that will not be taxed, and this is a big one, is money gifts. If your relative abroad sends you money or a friend gifts you cash, that money is not taxed. Even if you are sending upkeep money to your parents every month, maybe 50,000 naira or 100,000 naira, it's still considered a gift, not income. But here's the key. You have to be honest. If you claim something is a gift, but it's really a payment for a service, the government will treat it as income and tax it. So if someone pays you for work and you label it gift, that's not going to work. But genuine gifts, upkeep or support money, completely tax-free. Now, let's talk about investments. If you invest in government bonds like the FGN Savings Bond, any interest you earn from those remain completely tax exempt. That's a fantastic way to grow your money without the taxman taking a cut. However, if you invest in short-term instruments like treasury bills or commercial papers, there's still a 10% withholding tax on the interest you earn. So, a smart move could be to diversify your portfolio, some in FGN Savings Bond for tax-free growth and some in short-term instruments if you need quicker access to your cash. Next up, for all my stock market investors, if you sell your shares on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the money you make from that sale will not be taxed. As long as your total transactions are below 150 million in a year and your total profit from those sales is less than 10 million naira. Let's be real, that covers 99% of Nigerian retail investors. You won't pay tax on your stock sales. Only the big players, those selling hundreds of millions worth of shares, will fall into taxable category. Still on investments, let's talk about crypto. Your crypto gains will also not be taxed if you have recorded losses that offset your profits. In other words, the new law allows you to balance your losses against your gains before any tax is calculated. So, if you didn't make a net profit overall, you won't pay tax on your crypto activities. Now, for Nigerians living abroad, if you send money home to Nigeria for projects, for your family, or for the holidays, that money will not be taxed. The government understands that you already pay taxes in the country where you live and work. And for those of you investing in Nigeria from abroad, if your country has a tax treaty with Nigeria, you won't be taxed twice. You'll get a tax credit in your country for any tax you already paid in Nigeria. Countries like the UK already have this double taxation treaty, so that's a huge win for diaspora investors. Let's move on to businesses. If you registered a company in Nigeria and earns less than 100 million naira in annual revenue, you are tax exempt under this new law. That's right, small companies under the threshold won't pay company income tax. But take note, this only applies if your business is registered as a limited liability company. If you are operating as a business name or sole proprietor, you will be taxed as an individual, not as a company. So, if your business is growing and you want to enjoy those company level tax benefits, you might want to consider incorporating. But please don't rush to register your business just because you had 0% tax. Always seek advice from an accountant before making that move, because taking money out of a company can have its own tax implications. Now, for those in the agricultural sector, more good news. Agricultural businesses are completely VAT exempt, no matter their size. And new agribusinesses also enjoy up to 5 years of full tax exemption to help them grow and stabilize. After those 5 years, normal tax rules apply, but that VAT exemption is permanent. If you are investing in foreign companies from Nigeria and you earn dividends, you won't be taxed on those dividends as long as the money comes through official channels like Nigerian banks. Also, if you sell your personal house, that sale is tax-free as long as it's your own residence and not a commercial property. If you lose your job and receive severance benefits, you won't pay tax on that either, up to 50 million naira in compensation. And the pensioners, your pension is tax-free. The same goes for military officers, their salaries and pensions remain tax exempt. Now, one thing you must remember, and this is crucial, is that the government will rely more on self-declaration. This means you have to report your own income and taxes every year. It's your responsibility to keep receipts, proof of expenses, and evidence of deductions so you can claim what is rightfully yours. If you can't prove something, you might lose the benefit. And yes, the system will use data and technology to verify your claims. This isn't to witch hunt, but to ensure fairness. For example, if you declare you made 1 million naira last year, but your bank record shows 5 million naira in spending, they will simply ask you to explain the difference. The goal is to reduce tax evasion and increase compliance, not to punish honest taxpayers. So, to summarize, gifts, upkeep, and remittances are not taxed. The first 800,000 naira of your taxable income is tax-free. FGN Savings Bonds are tax-exempt. Small companies under 100 million naira in revenue are tax-free. Agricultural businesses get major tax breaks. Crypto losses can offset gains. Dividend from abroad and personal house sales are tax-free. Severance pay and pensions remain tax-exempt. And this new law might be long, but if you understand these basics, you know how to protect your money and how to grow it wisely. This is why I always say, knowledge is power, but financial knowledge is freedom. If this video helped you understand what is not taxed under the new law, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And don't forget to subscribe because I'll be breaking down more parts of this law in simple, practical terms, so you don't just make money, you keep it. Thanks for watching.